Hello everyone, my name is Simeon Mitchell and I'm the team leader of the Joint Public Issues team of the Baptist, Methodist and United Reformed churches in the UK. I've known Aftab, worked with him over several years through the URC, and I'm really pleased that he's asked me to say a few words to your event today. Just to say a word about the Joint Public Issues team, or JPIT as we call it. We help our churches to work together for peace and justice through listening, learning, praying, speaking, and acting on public policy issues. So we work on advocacy and bearing witness around a range of concerns of the churches, particularly in the UK context. One of our hopes for society is for a society that welcomes the stranger. And that takes us into issues around asylum and migration and refugees, and wanting to be guided by that hope that we would be a society that honours that biblical mandate to welcome the stranger. Now, as you are aware, notwithstanding some honourable exceptions, that principle doesn't seem to have been a guiding one for British governments for many years. In fact, a central aim of successive governments has been to curb so-called illegal migration, and especially the numbers of people that are crossing the English Channel to seek sanctuary in the UK. And over the last few years, this aim has been pursued with a toxic combination of harsh legislation and even harsher rhetoric. The Rwanda Plan, the policy announced 2 years ago now, is a really clear example of that. An unprecedented agreement was made with the government of Rwanda, and the UK threatened to send anyone who entered the UK by crossing the English Channel, which it deemed an illegal route, and tried to claim asylum, to Rwanda instead. And it's not, as is often misunderstood, to be sent to Rwanda for offshore processing on behalf of the UK, but permanently to apply for asylum under the Rwandan system. And for all this, the Rwandan government has been paid a multi-million-pound sum, with more to come if the policy is ever actually enacted. Now, from the outset, our churches, through their leaders, have been vocal in statements said, people seeking asylum are not a problem to be dealt with, but are individuals with inherent value and dignity made in the image of God. Sending some of the most vulnerable people in the world thousands of miles away to be imprisoned does not respect this dignity. It's a distraction from the real work which needs to be done to establish workable, safe and welcoming routes through which the UK can play its part in responding to need. Now, of course, it wasn't only the churches that have opposed the Rwanda Plan. It was criticised by many politicians, by the United Nations, and by lawyers who argued it would represent a breach of human rights commitments and the International Refugee Convention. A challenge was eventually brought to the policy in the courts, and it was ultimately upheld by the Supreme Court in the UK last November, which ruled that Rwanda could not be deemed a safe country to send people to. In response to this, the government introduced new legislation into Parliament, which seeks to say in law that Rwanda is safe, regardless of the findings of the courts or the facts on the ground. That's currently still going through Parliament. Even if it is passed, it's likely there will be further legal challenges, so it seems very unlikely that large numbers of people will be sent to Rwanda anytime soon, thank goodness. And what that means is it's not too late to raise your voice about this if you haven't done so already, and I would very much encourage you to do so. If you're in the UK and you want to contact your Member of Parliament, then going to our website, going to jpit.uk/Rwanda, you will find guidance on how to do that and a template letter that you can adapt. To conclude, I would say it's so important that we speak up for a fairer and a more compassionate asylum system. It's so desperately needed by those who are seeking safety in this country. And as we speak up, be encouraged that many faith leaders and many people across society are standing in solidarity about this. Thank you. And every blessing on your endeavours and on the rest of your meeting today.